Welcome to The Breakdown, episode 527, brought to you by Gemini, sponsored by Gemini. Trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. And powered by G Media. It's the network We're growing. We're growing. We are growing. Let's get it started real quick. Let's get it started real quick. Because I got the man. I got the man in the house. I got this guy in the house. I think he goes by the name of the. I think it's. What is it? Is it
Hey,
Charles?
hey, hey.
Charles?
How you been, man?
Hold on. Let me. I don't hear. Hold
You
on.
don't
I
hear
don't
me.
hear you. Hold
You don't
on
hear
one
me. Hello.
second.
Testing 1, 2. Let me see what.
I hear you. Hold on one second. Let me
Can
change
you?
this. Of course it doesn't work. You know, of course it works
You
against
just
me.
built me up and everything. Now you just can't hear me.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
And I'm like, I brought you up to
Hell
Eminem.
yeah, man. Feels so empty without me.
There we go. Okay.
Hey.
And you think Charles isn't down with
Yeah,
us, man?
shout out to my boy RFK. He is now the HHS. We gonna make America healthy again. How about that? Yo.
Let's look at the real stats behind these vaccines. Let's get rid of all these dyes and these.
No more ground up insects in your food dye. How about that?
There you go.
Man. So pumped.
You must be happy as hell.
So pumped, man. Every day is like fucking Christmas. You know, it's just some announcement comes out, something happens, and these guys don't give a shit. They're just moving. They're just moving. We're getting it done. We still back.
I've never I've never seen it. I've never maybe it has happened before, but I've never seen something move at this type of pace. I've never seen a president or an administration
Got
move
shit
like
to
this.
do. Got to get it done.
But you know all those promises when the president comes in, we'll go new administration, we're going to do this and that in the first 100 days. And then 4 years later, we were going to get to that. No, he's ripped the Band-Aid off. I'm doing this, that, I don't care. We're suing. Okay, you want to stop the funding? Okay, here comes a lawsuit to you, New York. Yesterday, which came out, I was like, oh my God, I'm loving I love the fact that Elon came out yesterday and broke every. Elon knows how to talk, man. You cannot get him. You cannot bait him. He will make you look stupid. I mean, I'm watching this. I'm like, holy crap. He has assembled the Avengers.
Yep. He's assembled the Avengers, man.
Tulsi's
in.
Tulsi, congratulations to Tulsi.
Yep.
She, I mean, like the whole squad's here. No excuses, right, Charles?
Did you see Pete Hegseth working out with the Green Berets? God,
that was awesome.
Big muscle guy. He's got that shit-eating grin on his face. He's like, "We so back. We're back. America back."
Right? Somebody wrote, "When's the last time we've seen this?" I mean, we're back. We are. The United States of America is back, baby.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. He's like, every day is a great day, and they're easy to talk to. They're easy to work with. Every conversation you have with anybody on the Trump side is, how do we make America great again? How do we make it wealthy? How do we create American jobs? How does this benefit America? I used to just miss this. I wanted this. When I was in Switzerland, when I lived there, we talked to Swiss government. They were always asking us, what makes this good for Switzerland? How many Swiss people are you hiring? How much money is Switzerland going to make? What type of business are you setting up here? I'm in Abu Dhabi. I talked to Dahar over at the ADGM. And Dahar is like, what's good for Abu Dhabi? Are you going to create an office here? Are you going to make some jobs here? Then you go under Biden, you talk to the people there, and they're like, well, how is this good for our weird, fucked up DEI woke philosophy? You're like, oh, well, I don't know anything about that, but it'll create 50,000 jobs. We don't care about jobs. We don't care about money. We just care about this one thing. Talk to the Trump people. They're like, how much money is this going to make America? I mean, just look when he brought Saudi Arabia and Project Stargate, that's 1.1 trillion. The next fucking week, he gets the Prime Minister of Japan to come in and he's sitting there like a gangster. He's like, yeah, we put in $1 trillion into America. That's 2.1 trillion in a month.
Wasn't he only putting in like 200 million at first? Remember the first conference?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's $1 trillion.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. $1 trillion. Just like that. Just like that. We're like 2.1 trillion. Fuck yeah, man. This is great.
I don't know. I'm loving it. If you're an American citizen and you don't appreciate what's happened, the Democrats are losing their minds. They
Yeah,
are losing it. I'm watching this and I'm like, they have nothing. They have nothing. All they can do is just fearmonger right now.
that's all
Elon's
they
going.
got.
He has all your information. He
Well,
everything. Like it's all over. Like
speaking of Elon, man, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Let me share my screen here. Okay,
there
add
you
add
go.
this up. Okay,
Let's
this
go.
meme explains it in a single fucking word. This is the if you're a Democrat. All right, so right here. Let me just read this off. You own a store. Your store gets robbed. Elon Musk looks at the video footage of the robbery and tells you who did it. Now you want to arrest Elon. You're an idiot.
That is
That
so
explains
true.
the whole thing. That's what's going on with Doge right now.
That is so true. Oh my
It's so
god.
true.
You gotta send me that meme. That's a good meme.
Yeah, it's so
That's a good.
good.
You gotta post. Did you post it up or no?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I'll send it your way. But I mean, it's just like, guys, I haven't heard a single Democrat acknowledge anything coming out of Doge. What do they think? They're just making it all up? Elon's just sitting there and be like, "Oh, it'd be fucking hilarious if we said this." No, and also they exposed where all the liberal media comes from. USAID. They showed the Politico subscriptions, they showed the, BBC subscription, all this stuff. So these guys get like 8%, 10% of their annual budget from USAID. They write attack articles on, the Republicans, and the liberals then give them more money, through subscriptions instead of the setup. So the whole dirty laundry of all the money is being exposed, and here's what these guys don't understand. They're so fucking done because Grok 3 is being tuned. There are version of it specifically to look at government waste and abuse. So you have an AI supercomputer is going to go through every single transaction in the US government. They can slow them down a little bit. They can't stop them though, because the president wants it. It will get done. But every single transaction, it could be one penny, it can be $1 billion, and it's going to go through all of them and figure out what's fraud and abuse, and then create lists. And they're going to systematically go through and manually check them, and they're going to figure all this stuff out. $10 million here, $100 million there. I guess $2 million for sex assignment, reassignment surgeries in Guatemala. GLBTQ plus Batman symbol comic book in Peru. Sesame Street in Iraq. I guess the kids in Baghdad really need to get some Elmo. They're finding some crazy shit. Not a single Democrat on the left has gone like, maybe we shouldn't spend money on this. No, it's Elon Musk is a criminal and he's a threat to our democracy. He's an evil man for
Chuck
telling
Schumer
you where
said. Chuck Schumer said, "I appreciate it, but I mean, he's taken a meat. I think a meat. Some what did he say? A meat sledge or some. He's
meat
going way
cleaver,
too.
meat
Yeah, some
knife
shit
or
like
whatever.
that. He's
Yeah.
like, he's going way too hard. We know there's like shady, but if you know, why didn't you do anything about it? Why'd you let the American citizens and the tax dollars go to all these? I saw one organization. I forgot who it was. They got paid about I think it was like $20 million to uh, I think it was I think it was the AP. They got paid some sort of money in order to fight and censor the right.
Yeah.
And it literally says it on the invoice.
Yeah.
And Elon was like, it says it on the invoice. Like
Right.
I don't know how much more clear. Like you can attack me, but look at the invoice. I mean, do Americans really want to pay for this? I mean, like I wouldn't. So I like what's happening, and I also like because I want to jump into this, and we can go right back into. I see you're excited. I know you're excited about the RFK thing too. I
Oh,
see. I see the jump in your
oh,
step right now with the
oh, yeah.
RFK thing.
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah,
I
he's a
know.
good friend, and he's just one of the nicest men I've ever met, and such a high integrity person, and I never in my lifetime thought that we would take such a corrupt organization and be able to put an honest man into that organization. I deal with the consequences every single day of a fucked up food supply. My clinic, we have 12,800 patients, the last report I got. So many of them have chronic ailments, cancer, and other issues. And you know what? You look at lifestyle, it's all the food, it's all the environment. They come in, they did all this stuff for 30 years, 40 years, and it just destroyed them. And then you got this FDA saying, "Oh, well, no, no, everything's great. Fuck you and take your high fructose corn syrup." And red meat's the problem and fat's the problem. That's what's killing everybody. We had red meat and fat throughout all of human history, But only recently have we developed this massive public health crisis when we had all this synthetic bullshit in the food. Only recently. And the countries that don't have the synthetic bullshit don't have the public health issue. But RFK is the anti-science guy. He's the
Yeah.
anti-science guy, right? He's going to kill us all. They're just they're bought and paid for.
Yeah.
You know, Elizabeth Warren and these other people, they're bought and paid for. And you can see the donations, and then they just try to pretend they don't exist. So you make like 200K a year on your salary, and you're worth $20 million, $30 million, $75 million. How the fuck did you get that kind of money? What did you
100%.
do as a business genius? Where'd you have the free time to go start a business and do all this stuff and make all the money? We know where you made it. Okay. And you sold the American people out. That's what you did. And you know what? The consequences are 65-year-old person got to cut their feet off because of the diabetes. The consequences are a 50-year-old person diagnosed with incurable cancer and they're going to die and they have to say goodbye to their family. Consequences are birth defects. Consequences are little Johnny has autism and all these problems for the rest of his life, has terrible problems. That is the price of the silver you took as a politician. And so we have a guy come on in saying, just not going to do it anymore. And they say, well, that just means measles and mumps and rubella are going to come on back. Well, you didn't give a fuck when you let 20 million illegal immigrants into the country unvaccinated. You didn't give a fuck at all about that. You know, why do you think we're getting tuberculosis again? Tell me, is that endogenous? They didn't give a fuck about any of that. But no. We got to care about Kennedy and what he's proposing here. Meanwhile, all this stuff is killing us, costing the United States trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars a year. And it's getting worse. My God, we are going to have a neurodegenerative disorder epidemic by 2035. We will have 10 million people in the United States with Parkinson's and dementia and Alzheimer's. How do you take care of them? It's 24/7 care inside a facility. That means you need about 8 people for every one person. So we're going to employ 80 million people to take care of the 10 million. And where does the money come from for all of that? Let's be honest. Let's be real. No one's having this conversation. They're just kicking the fucking can down the road. And nobody's asking, where did it come from? Because this never happened in human history. Now we have an HHS that finally is asking that question and saying, we're going to fund real research and we're going to look into it. They say, no, we need a Secretary of Health and Human Services whose only objective is suck the cock of the pharmaceutical industry every day and chop the kids, the dicks off kids. That's the only thing we care about. That's the only thing that trust the science means for these guys. Shut the fuck up, get quadruple vaxxed, put your mask on and get in the corner, and we'll tell you what your life is going to be. We're so fucking done with these people. So fucking done. And it's about time that we have honesty and integrity in. We're going to get to the bottom of COVID. We're going to get to the bottom of the NIH funding of COVID. We're going to get to the bottom of all of these horrible things that have happened, and the poison in the food and all the other stuff. You know what? Some difficult conversations have to be held. And we're just going to move on as a nation and we're going to fix it. And people are going to get healthy again. We're going to make America healthy again. I'm so excited about that, man. Yeah.
You're bringing the energy today, Joe. I'm
Hell
not saying
yeah.
that you don't. Oh, I'm just saying today
It's my
you're
boy,
smiling. You're
RFK.
ready.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. God bless America.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about. Welcome to the breakdown. Charles is on one today.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
you might be lucky enough they'll make a meme token about you again. Happy Charles or something. I don't know. The breakdown episode 527. No, he's always happy, but I feel your energy from here.
Yeah.
This is why I am so happy that the election went the way it went, with all the the cover ups, the CBS's, covering up Kamala and watching those edited, really edited, interviews. That crazy the way they did that. But watching, Trump now talk to Russia, they're now talking about ending the war. Ukraine is ready to come to the table. They're finally going to pay us back for all the stuff that they took from us. Holy shit. I mean, we're operating like a business, which we are. Like we are. Oh, at the end of the day, America is a business, and we've been doing horrible deals. And we've been like giving people everything, and we've been getting nothing back.
Well,
Can you imagine we have a president that's saying, you know what? It's time that we make money on this
Yeah,
phenomenal land. And
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's so crazy, dude. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm so glad. So Europe, all the money they gave to Ukraine is a loan, but apparently all the money we gave just a gift. Here you go. Here's $325 billion. Here you go. No accountability, no auditing, no oversight. Here's all the shit. You know what? We bailed their asses out. If not for us, they'd all be in Russia right now. And I'm sorry, we can't operate a country where we take a third of $1 trillion when we have homeless people, when we're $37 trillion in debt, when we have roads we can't fix, and go hand $325 billion to these guys. They have natural resources. You know what? If they want our money, they need to collateralize it. They need to pay us back. And either it's done through them paying actual cash, or we'll take the resources, whatever the hell it is. But absolutely, I'm sorry, it's not a fucking charity here. It's really not. We have to move on as a nation, and we have to set boundaries. If we paid for it, we get paid back. If we did it, we get it. It's that simple. And if they want to charge Russia for it, sure. You know what we can do is work out a deal with Russia where they get tariffs, we get rid of the sanctions, they reintegrate into the international society, and the tariffs get paid to rebuild Ukraine and repay America for the war. And maybe over 20, 30 years, it gets resolved. If I was Russia, I'd take that deal because then I can trade with Europe again. All right. So that's fine. We'll figure something out. But, we just can't have this insanity anymore of America last and everybody else gets our money. And then when
correct.
there's nothing left over, it's the millionaires and billionaires who are the evil people. Let's just quadruple the taxes and have a wealth tax and, tax on unrealized capital gains and all this other bullshit to pay for this Leviathan monstrosity that these guys constructed. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And then everyone's like, "Oh, well, we can't end the war, we can't have Putin win, he can't get some territory." 1.7 million people have died. These fucking ghouls. What, the pride of Zelensky? He's gonna go and retake Russian areas? You know what's gonna happen if the Ukrainians retake the areas the Russians control now? Because all the people there are collaborators with Russia. There'll be a purge. If the Ukrainians come in, anyone who worked with Putin will be shot in the back of the head. So are you okay with another 100,000, 200,000 people being executed? And these are Russian-speaking people that identify more closely, in most cases, with the Russian government than they do the
Right.
Ukrainian government. It looks radically different when you go to Eastern Ukraine versus Western Ukraine. Western Ukraine, some of them speak Polish and Ukrainian, and they have beautiful buildings that look like Western Europe. You go to Eastern Ukraine, concrete buildings from the Soviet era, Soviet monuments are still there. They all speak Russian. It's a radically different place when you take a look at the culture and the languages between these two places. And they've always been kind of a little bit unstable, but nobody cared because Ukraine was always economically a proxy of Russia. And as it
Yeah.
started getting independence, they started breaking away. That's when Russia started intermingling in their politics, assassinating people, installing their own people. And then this East West thing got in, and then eventually it broke into a conflict. It's going to be a tough negotiation because things have to be done to ensure that Putin doesn't try to invade Ukraine again. So the territorial concessions, the Russians earned those. They lost nearly 1 million people, and they spent god awful amounts of money. It's a war. We're okay when Israel takes territory, Yom Kippur, and these other things. It is what it is. Borders
Yeah.
change with
Yeah.
conflict, but we cannot have Ukraine invaded again. So if we're going to do that, what I would do if I was Trump is say you have two options, Putin. Either Western Ukraine joins NATO, or we give them nuclear weapons. Which one do you want? And just let them pick which of these two. Because the deal we had in '94 when they gave up their nuclear weapons was we would back them, and we did. So we honored that arrangement and that deal,
Yeah.
but they got to pay for it. And I think we can figure this out. We can put these pieces back together. It's not good for anybody, and I understand living in Ukraine how shitty of a situation it is. But what was your alternative? The United States just backing out because they're tired, and then Russia taking over everything and purging anybody that was part of the Free Ukraine movement. And you know what? It's over forever then. The borders are set. It is what it is. It's not perfect, but we'll
Yeah.
just have to live with it. When Putin dies, we can come back to it. And that is what it is. We could have had a better outcome if the battlefield had better results.
Yeah.
Kudos to Ukraine for holding on as well as they did. But 1.7 million people have been killed. And anybody on the left who says we should continue this to placate the fantasies of Zelensky or whoever, you're basically saying, we're going to go kill another 300 to 500,000 Ukrainian kids. We're going to go murder them for nothing.
for
Imagine how
nothing.
shitty that is, because at the end of the day, it'll be the same border when we get tired, or worse. So what
But
does
it's
those
easy
half
to
million
say
people
it. It's
die
easy
for?
to say when you're in this country, right? Yeah, it's easy to say when you're not going out into the field, or your child isn't going out to the field to go ahead and
Yeah,
fight a meaningless war. It's easy to say, hey, just keep, for the left, especially if, when they're taking in a lot of money, because at the end of the day, war makes money, right? There's money on the table in war,
massive
so
money, massive money. And you know what? The American people should be paid back in 2 ways. We should also mandate that when all the reconstruction of Ukraine happens, the Russians have to pay through it through tariffs and American companies have to rebuild it.
I
So, yeah,
love the
there we
word
go.
tariff.
It's great.
I'm like Trump right now. I
That's
love the
great.
word tariff. I want to put a tariff on some of these accounts on Twitter. Okay. I love tariffs. Okay. I think Pump.Fun, okay, should have 100% tariffs put on
Yeah,
it.
and I
Okay.
love this comment right here. He said, "This is so short-sighted. He will keep pushing into Europe." This is propaganda 101.
Yeah.
Has Russia ever, in its entire history, attacked a NATO country? So
Never.
what, Mike, European country is he gonna go attack?
All right. So, like, I can speak from this end. Like, so my history, I have a lot of DNA that comes from Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
And I can tell you right now, coming from somebody who knows about that land and not somebody who's watched, MSNBC and Joy Reid and Rachel, what's her name, Rachel Maddow,
yeah,
tell you about it. Okay, like, first of all, they're all poor. Okay, I'm telling you right now, everybody's poor there, and the people there are thinking about how do they survive for another month. They're
yeah,
miserable. Heat's never on. Okay, they don't live a great lifestyle. They don't want war. That's number one. The
yeah,
people of Russia do not want war. You guys, or I should say, the United States of America did promise Russia that, once they signed that treaty, that we would not move we wouldn't move closer to their land than we did, right? So what is Putin supposed to do? Like, I don't like Putin. I'm not. I know what he's about. He has his agenda as well, but he hasn't done anything to go ahead and entice the United States of America or any country to come and come to war. He wants his land back. He wants part of that land back. He feels that part of the land in Ukraine is Russia's. That's it. Unfortunately, this escalated. I don't think it would have escalated if Trump was in office.
no,
I don't believe if Trump was in office, I don't believe this war ever happens. I stick to that. I don't believe even Putin wants to go to war. I
mm,
don't believe he has that mindset. I believe he wants to be the dictator of Russia for the next, until he dies. I believe he wants to stay in power, but I don't believe he really wanted to go to war.
yeah,
But that's my take. That would be my family's take as well. They don't trust him, but they understand he would not go ahead and take broken down tanks, okay, which Russia has. It's a bunch of broken down tanks from the 80s, and start moving in and go to war with countries,
yeah, they
especially
lost
NATO countries.
100,000 tanks in this conflict, and,
And they're never going to get them back.
no, they're not gonna rebuild them either. I mean, since 2000, about 13 countries have joined NATO. So they in 2004, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania,
Yeah,
Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia. That was the first major enlargement.
yeah,
Then they started really moving with Albania and Croatia, Montenegro, and then in 2020, North Macedonia, Finland, then, in 2024, it was Sweden. So they're up 32 members now, and, the challenge that Russia has is that they have an economic sphere of influence and they have
yeah,
territory. Just
yeah.
like the United States, we have an economic sphere of influence and we have territory. So
Correct.
Canada and Mexico and a lot of Latin America is absorbed into the US economic sphere of influence. So while
Yeah,
we don't control the nations, we have trade they have trade surpluses with us, and they're highly reliant upon American commerce, which is why, things like, tariffs are so damn effective on them because we tariff it and it just crushes their economy. So Russia's the same, and so Russia has an economic sphere of influence around Central, Asia and, East Europe. And because of the Soviet Union, they built this economic dominion. So back in our day, when we were growing up, Ukraine, almost their entire economy was in the Russian sphere of influence. And
yeah,
then what happened is that while the eastern parts stayed there, the western parts moved much, much more into Europe, and they became part of Europe effectively, which is what
correct.
led to a large cultural divide. And
Yeah.
also, another thing is when you enter that economic sphere of influence, the next thing that happens? Immigration. So people move to it, and your people move to there. So suddenly, a lot of Ukrainians ended up in Poland and Germany and other places. They turned into proper Europeans, and so they broke them culturally from
Yeah.
Russia, which is why there's a big divide from the older Ukrainians to the younger Ukrainians. The older Ukrainians, they're like, "Yeah, we all grew up in the Soviet Union. They're the bosses."
Yeah.
Whereas the younger Ukrainians are like, "Well, no, we don't know anything about these Soviets. We're not part of that culture. We speak
Right.
Ukrainian." So when you start that drift there, they really do become different countries, and typically you have to make some decisions about, well, how's that gonna land out? The problem with NATO moving further eastward is that if Ukraine joined NATO, the concern that Moscow had was that American nuclear weapons would basically be just a few hundred miles away from Moscow and just sitting right there. Well, that's what happened in 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the
Yeah.
Russians went to Cuba. They put a little communist proxy, like, right next to fucking Florida, and we would not accept Russian nuclear weapons or military that close to our borders. We just could not tolerate that. So the Russians do not tolerate the idea of American military bases and nuclear weapons in eastern Ukraine, which is exactly what would have occurred had they joined NATO. So the compromise always was is leave it as a buffer, but in this Russian economic sphere of influence. Then when it became clear that it was no longer going to be a buffer and it was being absorbed into Europe, the Russians said, this is it. We have to do something. And they said the hard line is joining NATO. If you attempt to do it, we will invade. And Zelensky tried to join it. And then they invaded. And then we had surprise Pikachu face. And we all said, oh, we just didn't know what happened. We just couldn't understand.
Yeah.
So, what we could have done, you're right about Trump. If I was president, what I would have done is dual crew Ohio nuclear subs, put them in the Black Sea, and say American and Ukrainian sailors on it. If you invade, I turn the subs over to Ukraine. So you're invading a nuclear power with nuclear subs. Best of luck. The Russians wouldn't have invaded then, and then you could go and have a negotiated compromise, and it would be some form of thing where Ukraine agrees not to join NATO, but then Russia makes some concessions, over how they control and influence Ukraine, and, there was a path to do this, and it had been done many, many times before. Zelensky had fuck ton of dirt on Hunter Biden, sleeping with 14-year-olds and all these other things in Ukraine, and I know people in Ukraine who actually have those videos. So it's not me talking out of my ass, okay? It's not Republican propaganda. I used to have an office in Kharkiv, and I would go to Odessa every year, and I know a lot of people in Ukraine, and Hunter is a dirty guy, really dirty guy. And so when he was out there, they had all this dirt on him, and, basically, Zelensky had it and all these other guys had it, and they said, "Well, we're never gonna have this kinda leverage on a US president ever again. So let's go for it. Let's go big or go home. Go join NATO, go join the European Union, get all in. We're outside of the Russian sphere of influence forever, and the United States has no choice but to back us because we got leverage on the whole
Yeah.
situation." And, they overplayed their hand, and then the Russians come on in, and they just thought they could roll the country in 4 weeks, but problem with Putin is he has end-stage dictator syndrome. So, end-stage dictator doesn't know what's going on because you are surrounded by sycophants and loyalists. They never tell you the truth. So, he's getting these reports like he's got the most ferocious military in the world, and they're super fucking scary, and they're gonna roll everybody. But the reality is they just have a paper tiger because all the generals stole all the money and they never actually built a super powerful military. So he's making these war plans like fucking ninja warrior. We're going to hit them on 4 different fronts. The Spetsnaz are going to come in and they're going to do this and thermal barrack weapons here. And like our Air Force is so badass. And literally they could just get rolled up. That like the convoy that went on for 50 miles on a single
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
that just got shredded and this shit. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And,
Ukraine was
and be
changing signs on the
yeah.
roads,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah.
Russian soldiers were thinking they were going one way, and they would get lost and trapped right into the hands of the Ukrainian army. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, I thought the war would be over. Like, mentally, when you watch mainstream media, right? You're thinking like, okay, the war's over. Like Russia's gonna come in. Ukraine's weak. No, I was actually very, very surprised.
Yeah,
Very, very surprised.
yeah.
And very surprised at the age group that they sent over. Young kids who didn't want to fight, older
Well,
gentlemen
Oh,
that were
they
already
blew their
broken
load in the
pretty
first
much.
3 days. They had
Yeah,
elite operators in the first 3 days because they thought they were gonna secure Kiev, and it was just a formality to take the country
yeah,
because they thought that Zelensky was gonna flee, and to his credit, he stayed, and they thought that, the Ukrainian generals, because 'cause they're all former Soviet guys, would roll. You know, the minute Zelensky's gone, Kiev falls, then the Ukrainian military would join the Russian military because they would get basically paid off for that whole
yeah,
thing. Zelensky stayed, he rallied the people, they fought off Kiev, and then they were able to basically hold the entire country. Well, it's pretty crazy, you know, and again, kudos to Ukrainians. They fought hard. This was an unbelievable struggle, and they dug in and they made it very clear that they cared about their territorial integrity and sovereignty. And I think they earned a nation out of this. And they really
yeah,
showed that Ukraine, Western Ukraine, is a country and it deserves sovereignty. So
correct.
that's what has to be basically established in treaty. And every great country does this. America, we had our challenges. You know, we fought not only the Revolutionary War, but we did a sequel. It was the War of 1812. We tried to take Canada, you know, and we fought the British Empire because we want to respect.
Yeah,
And we preserved our nation because of those 2 conflicts, and we could have lost it in any one of those conflicts, but we
yeah,
preserved it. And then we had a civil war that we had to get through as well. So this is not the end of the story, but it has to be the end of the war. They have to stop it. The meat grinder has to stop. Anybody who says otherwise is a fucking ghoul. Geopolitical globalist neocon piece of garbage.
yeah.
1.7 million people. You're a fucking ghoul if you want this meat grinder to continue. Watch the videos. It's trench warfare. It's like
Yeah,
World
I
War
can't
One.
watch them.
It's
They're
horrible.
horrific.
You know,
The
it's like
drones
drones
dropping,
dropping
yeah, yeah,
thermite grenades
yeah,
into trenches, and, you know, everybody's dirty in this, and it's just nasty. It's so nasty. The other thing, if you're on the left and you're supporting this, Zelensky is a dictator. Let's be exceedingly clear about that. He suspended elections. Whether you believe he's a great guy or an honest guy, he suspended elections. He is not in power through democratic mandate. He has absolute power. He arrests anybody who opposes him. There's no free press in the country. Everybody's under martial law, and the elections are suspended. We, during World War II, had elections.
yeah.
We, during the Civil War in 1864, had elections. The head of the Union Army ran against Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. There is no excuse to suspend elections in your country. You need elections to reinforce the legitimacy of what you're fighting for. When you suspend them, it means you're afraid that you're going to be replaced
Correct.
by somebody with a different strategy. So the people have no say in Ukraine of whether they agree with Zelensky or not. And when you are on the left, I guess you just don't care about democracy. You keep talking about Russian interference and how important democracy is, but when the cards are on the table, you're okay with a 25th Amendment coup of Biden. You're okay with Kamala Harris being installed without any election whatsoever, and you're okay with Zelensky being a dictator. You're okay with these things. You're totally okay with these things because you were told to be okay with these things by a propaganda machine, which USAID paid for now. Think about that.
Welcome to the breakdown. See, you say I don't bring value. No, everybody says I bring value, but there are some people say there's no value in crypto. Absolutely, there is value in crypto. Breakdown episode 527, live with Charles, sponsored by Gemini. $1,000 traded, $100 in Bitcoin earned when you sign up. G Media is the network. It's always fun to bring on the encyclopedia himself, Charles. I just call him Charles. I don't even say Hosks. I'm gonna just say Charles. He should be like Madonna, Prince Charles. There you go. All right. From politics today, still stays kind of politics, but it's crypto. Hester Pierce came out and called memes collectibles, or essentially didn't use that phrase. But I mean, we first had David Sachs say that, but then she came out heading the task force, and she goes, "Well, memes don't really. I mean, memes don't really fall under us here. Like,
Right.
I mean, and she wrote a piece saying that, well, if you get into memes, I mean, just know, like, if you're expecting long-term, gains and it happens to not work out, well, you've taken that risk. So we're not going to do anything about that. That's on you. So I think
Yeah.
this new administration with the collectible thing coming in, which I just learned collectibles are taxed with capital gains tax.
I think
I
so, yeah.
I didn't know that, and I was
Yeah,
surprised because I was informed that this capital gains tax is on collectibles, and I was like, so what are we doing here? So we now know the SEC is not really going after memes here. So
yeah.
now the memes, I believe, will thrive.
Well, nothing protects you from fraud. So
Correct. Well,
while the
and
meme
that's
is
where I
not a
was going.
security, it doesn't mean
Correct.
it's not fraud.
So, and that's where I'm going. If
Yeah,
obviously memes will thrive, but if you commit fraud, which falls under the guidelines of the SEC as a security, they'll take you on, or the CFTC and whoever, whatever else government, department comes in, DOJ and stuff
yeah,
like that. So, um, but all I'm
yeah,
saying is, it became to me, it just became bullish for everything. It's not just
yeah,
memes, utilities, and everything that's in this market that's
yeah.
being built here legitimately. You
So
know,
let's say
uh,
I make baseball cards for a living,
yeah.
and, I say there's only ever gonna be 10 of these Mickey Mantle cards, and then I decide after printing 10 of them and giving 5 to myself and selling them at extremely high prices, that I go and do an extra run and print 100 more of them. That's fraud. And,
Yeah.
it could be if I do market manipulation at the same time, could be civil and criminal. Now,
Okay.
does that baseball card need to be a security for that to happen? No. In fact, different regulatory agencies will step in. The FBI
Yeah.
could if it's sold across state lines. So, people think, "Oh, the SEC needs all this power to do this." Securities are a very particular type of instrument. Well, the reason why meme coins are probably not securities is the collective enterprise part of the Howey test. So there's clearly an expectation of return. And so that part of the plank is certainly there, but that common enterprise there is who's responsible for the value appreciation of meme coin. And it does the founder mean anything at all? They could be
No.
dead, they could be gone, they can burn the entire supply. It persists, and collectibles are the exact same way. In fact, oftentimes with collectibles, the value goes higher when the original creator of the collectible is dead or gone.
Correct.
So, securities don't work that way. When the company behind the security disappears, all value is lost. If Microsoft is gone, do you think Microsoft stock would be worth anything? Maybe like
Correct.
the original paper certificates as a collector's edition or something like that, but collectibles have a very different behavior, and so meme coins look more like that.
Yeah.
But there are some that could, because of their nature and connection to a person, be more on the security side, but there's no central issuer after release in terms of the value appreciation. There's no continued curation of that concept or notion. So, I think I agree with Hester in this, and it's a difficult thing to thread because needs to be some standards of consumer protection, but I
Yeah.
think most of that can be done through an SRO type of structure, where basically the communities come together and they create best practices for the launching
Yeah.
of meme coins. And as long as those best practices are followed, then people in infrastructure can just make a gentleman's agreement about liquidity. So Coinbase can say we'll only list if they fall in these categories, or Binance will only list if they fall in these categories. And that's how you probably resolve most of the issues and protect people from scams.
Um, we now have, so touching on that, we obviously we have pump.fun. I want to before I get into that, what do you think about the current market conditions? Obviously, the tariffs are scaring people and all this stuff, and I don't. Somebody made a funny joke about Ethereum. They said Trump hit. I think it was Trump hit China with a no, actually hit all the countries with a 25% tariff after China hit.
Reciprocal tariffs. Yeah.
Yeah, something with it had to do with steel and aluminum.
Yeah.
So when that came out, Ethereum went down. So a guy, I forgot the guy's handle. He comes out and says, and he has a picture, a screenshot of obviously the chart, and he goes, "I didn't know that Ethereum was made out of aluminum," and I found that to be funny, and I chuckled because like, why are you guys selling? Like, what is it? What does it have to do with
It's
us?
it's
Like,
a schizophrenic time, man. It's such a schizophrenic time, and here's why. Um, every institutional guy I talk to, they're masturbating 5 times a day, like Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, "Those are rookie numbers, man. You gotta get your numbers up." They're so excited about the markets. They think the markets are gonna go parabolic. Because you look at it, you got sovereign wealth funds coming in and buying crypto. You got basically the US government saying it's going to start holding Bitcoin and they're going to get that passed. Stablecoin legislation is going to get done within 100 days. All the markets are going to open up. Big companies like Microsoft and Google will come in, Apple will come in and create cryptocurrency wallets because they legally can do this. XAI is going to have a largest cryptocurrency wallet in the world right now, 500 million people. They're going to flip the switch there in a little bit. Real world assets are entering the crypto space. $20 trillion on the institutional side is going to come into crypto, and those markets are going to merge. So all the institutional guys, and by the way, they are the degens of degens. You think we got degens? It's like, I learned it from you, Dad. They are so fucking degeny. And look at the administration. These guys are from that world. You got Bissett. He worked with George Soros and Jim Rogers, broke the Bank of England back in the day. And then you got Lutnick, he was Tether guy, is like all these guys are just pushing the envelope. Wall Street can't help themselves. How Wall Street regulations work is you got a bunch of ravenous dogs running around, and every now and then a regular comes and shoots one of them in the head and says, "Don't be that guy," and then
Yeah.
goes back, and then they all become ravenous dogs again. That's Wall Street, okay? Don't fucking pretend like Wall Street's a nice place. It's ruthless. So these guys are in charge now. The degens are in charge. So the institutional dudes are like, yeah, crypto's good. But then all the retail people are all like Dobby. They're like, oh, no.
That's what I'm
Not
saying. Michael
good.
Saylor's buying Bitcoin every single week. On the Monday, he's coming out with announcements. I just bought 633. What was it? 6,331 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
7,334 Bitcoin. I'm like, I'm watching money. I'm watching BlackRock buy Ethereum. I'm watching Cardano.
ETF, Grayscale, what's up?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm watching all this bullish news, and people are still like, well, I think it's over. Charles,
over.
do me a favor. Fuck you all, okay? I'm gonna say this right now, okay? Fuck you all. I'd rather listen to Charles than any of you mutts. Charles, do me a favor. I won't hold you to it, and guys, don't hold him to it. How long do we have in this bull run?
We are just getting started, man. We are just getting started. So, all these guys seeing their shadow, their dicks all shriveled up and they got to go home for a little bit. But, a month or two, that nonsense will drain from the market. I'll give you two statistics. One, $760 billion left the market when the tariff thing came. That was larger than Luna or FTX on that day. And 710,000 people got liquidated one day. It's twice the size of the amount of people got liquidated during the Luna collapse. Took us 2 fucking years to recover from that. We
Yeah.
recovered in 48 hours from that event in terms of volume,
Crazy.
liquidity, these other things, okay? These are hot markets. So, when these guys just this is an uncomfortable thing for us as an industry because this is the first cycle in the time I've been in crypto that's not retail led. The last 3 cycles were all retail. This cycle's institution led. And it's a lot bigger, a lot more organized. And so I don't know how it's going to pan out. I know everything's going on. I think Bitcoin's 250K minimum, and everything's a ratio of that. But I don't know how long that's sustained. I don't know where we're at in the cycle. I just know that it's impossible when the US government is pumping your bags for your bags not to go up. They were the original pumper. It's called the Federal Reserve. They got it's not like a little hand pump, man. They got the air compressor, okay? And they've been doing this for a long time. They're very, very good at this stuff. They can't pump forever, but they're coming in. And, the other thing is when the regulations stop, here's what people don't get. There are billions of these, billions, and they already have trusted hardware modules inside of them. Okay. So what does that mean? These are all ledgers. These are all treasures. So all Google has to do and Samsung has to do and Apple has to do is push a button. And then suddenly there's a cryptocurrency wallet and it's got stablecoin in it. And you're already crypto native. And you've already gone through KYC. The whole thing is there. And the proof of liveness, they already can see your face, your fingerprint, all this other stuff. That's 3 billion people entering the cryptocurrency space. What stopped that was regulation. And the minute that the regulation goes in the other direction, all these guys turn on because they want the money. That's what Facebook was trying to do with Diem back in the day, and they got hammered because the regulators came
Correct.
and say, "No, no, no, no." Well, guess what? The regulators are gone. The regulators are crypto people. You think they're gonna be like, "No, we can't trust that crypto thing that we just existed in for the last 20 years?" It's like, "No, they're here, okay?" And, they're gonna turn that shit on, and so all these things you're gonna see your Microsoft wallet, it's built into Windows, you're gonna see your Android wallets built into Android. So I can't understand why people have this bizarre pessimistic view, and they're like, "Oh, no, we just don't." The markets are shifting a little bit, and they're going back to blue chips. They're going back to the reliable, the dinosaur coins, as people like call them, like XRP and Cardano and Ethereum. And they're moving away from the new stuff like memes and these types of things because it's no longer retail led, it's institution led, and they have to go to a flight to quality. So
Yeah.
those are going to be the ones that drive the market. Bitcoin is going to be the biggest winner because it's going to be in the sovereign wealth funds of pretty much every country. 20 to 30 major countries, hundreds of billions of dollars of buying. US government already holds 212,000 Bitcoin. People forget that. They got it through civil asset forfeiture. And, we'll move our way through. Just give it another 6 to 12 months. Then we'll see a bull market probably when the stablecoin bill passes, because that'll be the
Do
triggering event to say we're
do you
real.
think the conditions will right now, the conditions will last, or will the market act the way it's acting right now for the next couple of months? Or do we see in the next couple of weeks the market start trending upwards? Like that to me, because that is really the question that's being asked. I think, like, for the meme economy, it's the retail market, right? That comes in, and maybe a few institutions like might dabble in that. But obviously, I agree with you on the whole utility side, where obviously the big boys will go after utilities first. I mean, look at the ETFs. I don't need to go ahead and say anymore where they're going and who they're going after. Um, but what do you think? What do you see in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, any movement in the markets towards the up?
I think we will have some movement in the markets. And it's going to just have a lot of little volatility, but the big events are going to be the passage of a stablecoin bill. And the reason being is it's a signal to every institution in the United States that that's okay. Stable coins are going to be the unit of exchange for a lot of these consumer-based cryptocurrency wallets, and they're the gateway drug to get into crypto because you'll use them to buy crypto. And so a bicameral working group has been formed between the House and Senate, and everybody's, "Oh, that's a nothing burger press conference." It's like, "You idiots. Getting the Congress and the Senate together at that scale guarantees legislation can be passed in 100 days." That was the most meaningful crypto announcement we've ever seen. And right off the back of that, we can get asset classification taken care of, so a token taxonomy. We can get custodial standards figured out. We can get all this shit figured out. Like this year, we can get a bunch of laws passed for this type of stuff. So that's a huge deal. Once that's done, massive institution money is entering in. The markets are too thin not to react to that. It's gonna see a humongous spike, and then retail, because it's fickle and fast, will react to it radically, and, they'll move in that direction. So overall, I'm very happy with, the direction that things are going, and, it's hard to do a short-term price prediction because everything is still so black swanny. Like, weird things can break out and happen, like this
Correct.
tariff happens or DeepSeek comes out and knocks out NVIDIA, and for some fucking reason, crypto goes down for that, even though we have nothing to do with it. But in the wider aperture, like 120 days to
Yeah.
360 days, I think, there's just nothing to stop this. It would have been the exact opposite if Harris had been elected. It'd have been like the biggest bear market we've ever had, and I think actually people would start going to prison. They would
So,
actually start they already tried with Roger Ver,
yeah.
and we're hopefully will get him apart, and they did it with CZ. And they would have just gone after everybody and to make an example out of them, and, everybody just be fighting tooth and nail, hoping the Supreme Court bails out the industry as the last bastion against the ravenous wolves tearing us apart. But now it's the other side of it where there's nothing to stop the bull market. If the US
Yeah.
government's aligned, Europe is aligned, and Europe is aligned, Middle East is aligned, that's too much money to enter the
Yeah.
cryptocurrency space.
Just bring on the right, I guess, clarity. I don't want to say regulations. Bring in the right clarity.
Yeah.
You know, so we understand. And I don't think we should. You think the Howey test should still exist?
Well, it does, but for securities, the thing is, though, that we need to create a new category in the law, digital assets,
Yeah.
and we need to create taxonomy around that and then update tax law, securities laws, commodities law, and other things accordingly. The good news is a working group is formed between the CFTC and the SEC. Hester Peirce is in charge of the SEC side, was the best possible outcome. And the CFTC, the guy who's leading it is the former head of policy for A16Z. so so I mean, honestly, dude,
Yeah.
that's as good as it gets. That is as good as it gets. So I think
So
we're okay
some
there.
of our most intelligent people in the crypto space that know how to be creative, that know how to build, will come out now winning in this current environment, basically at the end of the day, because they'll finally know the rules. They'll know how to operate within this ecosystem. And that means if they can operate, then we all win for
Yeah.
those who don't build. That is cool, man. Charles, I got to tell you, because I know you know, we're running here 7 more minutes. Um, do you know who Dave Portnoy is?
Yeah, I know Dave.
Okay. Dave Portnoy comes in here. I got to tell you this story.
Okay.
4 or 5 days ago. I don't get excited about many things, right? Maybe talking about politics, crypto. Obviously, I love talking about crypto and stuff, but I don't get like super bullish on a lot of things immediately. Dave Portnoy comes in 5, 6 days ago. He makes a video. He says, "You know what? Because he's been trying to get into crypto for so long.
Mhm.
He tried to get into Bitcoin." Impossible. In 17, he tried to get into Bitcoin. Like he got it, but he didn't know what the hell it was about. Okay. And he probably got a bunch of stuff, still didn't know all these utilities. He probably has ADA, still doesn't know what it's about. Right. I'm
Right.
telling you, this is him. He got into XRP too, but that was more recently. He got into utilities, right? He's been trying to get into this space, trying to get onboarded into this space. And every time somebody approaches him, they talk to him in code. He doesn't understand code. He just wants to know, how do I get in here and play? Okay? That's it. He's trying to keep it, please, keep it simple for me. How do I play here? So he finally comes in 6 days ago, right? After getting XRP, and he won, right? Because when it went up, he won on it. So now he's feeling good about himself, right?
Right. Right.
He's like, I'm going into, because he made, he had this whole thing, and during the pandemic, he got into Safe Moon, garbage, right? He had 6 selections of meme coins. He chose Safe Moon because he said, I chose Safe Moon because it's going to the, because it's safe and it might be going to the moon. So I'm putting $40,000 into it. He puts $40,000 into it, loses his ass.
Right.
So
Safe
every
move.
single thing since trying to get in here, he's losing his ass, right?
Right.
Up until XRP. Now he goes, you know what? You guys are playing with shit coins. I'm going to participate with all you son of a bitches who dumped on me. So let it be known, I'm going in and I'm dumping on you, okay? And don't you crypto people cry, okay? Because you want me to hold and you want to dump on me. No. I'm dumping on you. And this video, Charles, if you watch these videos, they're hilarious, right?
Right.
So he starts winning. He goes from 10,000 to 70,000. He's feeling good about himself. They're
Right.
sending him tokens, like you and like everybody. They're making tokens. They're sending it to him. They send them this token called jail stool. After Barstool, jail stool, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody, oh, you're going to jail, right? So jail stool. They send it to him. It starts running. It starts running, not on his account, but then he starts, he gets into it.
Right.
Now, like he gets it on Kraken. It's at 100, 200 million. It's running.
Oh, fuck me.
People are trying to explain it to him. They're using word. He's not. It goes back after he gets Kraken, Charles. After he puts in his own money, he does $100,000 during the halftime of the Super Bowl. He says, "I got a big announcement. I'm putting $100,000 of my own money into this. I'm
Right.
staying here." He's putting out videos like he's the gladiator Maximus, okay? And they're chanting his name, and he wants to be the king of crypto type of thing.
Right. Right.
It pulls back, goes from 200 million, 30 million.
Right. It's a meme
He
coin.
goes, I don't understand you motherfuckers. I put in everything. What do you want from me?
Oh,
I
God, it's
put in
so
all
good.
this stuff. And it's the natural progression, right? In the space, as
Yep.
everything pulls back, it's just natural. Listings, automatically you pull back. I get on a one-on-one with them. There's 30,000 people. I get one-on-one. I told them, don't give up. Stay
Right.
with it.
Right.
Don't listen to these cockroaches that are telling you they're flipping for a $3 profit. You stay with this, and you're going to start a movement. You know why I believe that? And I believe it benefits Cardano. I believe it benefits the entire ecosystem because he has 40 million people tuning into Barstool Sports.
Right.
He has colleges all across the world gambling, sports gambling with Barstool Sports.
Right.
We've been begging to bring in Web 2 into this industry.
All
Not
right.
to
All
have
right.
them be our exit liquidity, but to join us and to build. We've been asking for this. And do you know what happens, Charles?
What?
Because it's happened to you. The mutts come out from all over and said, "We are not going to lay the red carpet out for Dave. We're not. He has to earn his stripes. He has to
So
go through the trenches and the boot." What are you talking about?
I'll give Dave some free advice, and I think this will solve his problem with jail stool. If Dave really wants to CTO it and be the guy for jail stool, Dave, you got 40 million people with Barstool. Okay, it's worth $450 million as of your 2022 valuation. That's pretty fucking awesome. Create exclusive content that only jail stool holders get to see. So create a premium line of Barstool and just do exclusive content drops. That's all you gotta do. And you know what? A lot of those 40 million people get real excited about it. They wanna be part of exclusive. They'll buy a jail stool to get access to that exclusive content. There you go. Create some real
So he
utility there.
so that's what he wants to do, but he wanted to. He got so into this. He goes, I wanted to create. I want to create a token for Barstool, which would incentivize, right?
Yeah.
And you need a game plan for that. You need 2 to 3 months to work on. Okay,
I
what does this token
I tell
do,
you the
right?
guys that will do this for free. They will figure this out. Go to Stuff.io. That they will do it for them. They would love to have Dave Portnoy. I just know for a fact. They would just be like, "Yeah, absolutely," and get that on the platform. Stuff allows you to monetize any form of IP. They work with Snoop Dogg. They worked with me. They launched the Charles Media Token, and we do exclusive interviews through that. And I'm not as big as Dave, but they know how to do this and they know how to get this done. So they could turnkey and come up with a plan for him and take care of him end to end and get it multi-chain, and all that other stuff. So yeah, if he's really serious and he really wants to do this, that's the way to go. The problem is that if somebody else launches it, you just kind of adopt it. You don't
Yeah.
control enough of it. You don't have enough of that influence, and then shit gets super volatile. And then they know that you're in, so they just dump it and they destroy the value. So they use Dave to make a great exit. So Dave Portnoy was the exit liquidity, just like Haktua or any of this other stuff. So if he's really serious about it, he needs somebody to help him out. The stuff guys are the guys to help him out. They know how to do this, and they work with a lot of really great IP, and they tokenize books, and they tokenize music, and they now are creating media tokens and these types of things, and pulling Barstool into that. They would work like dogs to make this thing happen.
I got to reach out to him. The one thing, because it's beneficial to have him in the space, right?
Yeah.
I've, this whole jail stool thing, though, it's so good because it feels like the Wall Street Bets movement part two.
Right.
And I think it can be done better. It benefits the space. And then once that's done, work with stuff.io,
Yeah.
create the Barstool token, make it great, incentivize your people for content, the content creators on Barstool, and for the audience that watches. I think it's just such a positive fucking thing that these people don't understand. Like they feel like somebody like him needs to bow down to us. Like who? Like what are you talking about? We wanted this. We've always wanted people to,
Well,
especially somebody like him with a platform.
he
You know how many people have DM me? I can show it to you, Charles. I have at least 200 people literally saying to me, "I know nothing about crypto. I just know that Dave came in here. I'm a stoolie, and I want to participate."
yeah. Well, you
Do you
gotta
know how good
understand,
that feels?
I'm a billionaire and I'm an expert in crypto. I went into medicine. For the first 2
Yeah.
years, I got my ass kicked because it's a new field. It's a new
Wait,
industry.
by
And
the
just
industry?
Yeah, by the industry. The medicine thing, we're just now getting good at it. But I got my ass kicked. And I came in a small town. I think, "Oh, I got all this money. I got all this power. Everybody's gonna be super excited." Every single like the state of Wyoming takes 6 months for me to get a medical license for these doctors I bring in. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on, guys?" I bring an MD, PhD from fucking Cleveland Clinic who operates on the damn royal family to a town of 35,000 people. He's the only ophthalmologist in the entire town. And then they give me, crap about, licensure time and when he
Yeah.
already has a medical license in a different state. It's just so it's just that's how it is. There's rules in all these industries. So, don't disrespect the Dave, but you gotta come in and you gotta come in with a partner to help introduce you and help you navigate and understand the language and all this other stuff. Because everybody is like a lamprey fish. They're gonna see his brand, his reputation, they're gonna see all the goodness about him. They're gonna try to attach themselves and suck as much value as they can out and then disappear. That's what these guys
100%.
do. So, that's why I say you need a guy like Stuff or something like that to help be the guide and take you
Yeah.
and show you the route to take and how to do these things and to get you where you need to go. And then, once you learn the rules in a year or 2, then you're okay. And it's the same for me in medicine. Now that I know all the rules, I know all the people, I know the phone calls I have to make and, where to get involved. We got 12,800 patients now, and we're growing like a weed. So I think Dave could be disruptive in crypto and do a lot of really cool stuff, especially on the sports betting side. Oh boy,
Yeah.
that would be a beautiful midnight application because we could do it with compliance but private. How about that? So a lot of really cool stuff there. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta have your right foundations, and you don't just by jumping in and having a naked asset that people trade because
Yeah.
you don't really have any control over that. You don't even know how to do the market making, the liquidity, any of this stuff. You don't really have that, and there's no foundation on that. Like we're gonna release content, exclusive content, or something that creates an intrinsic value for this type of thing that can link up what he's good at, which is making content, with
Yeah.
where he wants to go. So you need a broker to help come in and basically guide you through all that. And Cardano has plenty, Solana has plenty. There's plenty all around. Let them figure it out. And I'm more than happy to help guide him to the right people, depending on what his goals are. And we wish him well. I'm never going to turn down a person entering the cryptocurrency space. I'm like you. I think it's a huge benefit to us to have somebody with a large network of people. But everybody's got to have a an understanding that the rules are different. And just because you're a master of one set of rules doesn't mean you're going to be a master of another set of rules. A great example is take a Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion and put him up on a horse and have him do some horseback riding shit. You know, it's probably not gonna be a cowboy tomorrow, okay? And you could be Royce Gracie, and you're not gonna outride a 14-year-old girl who does, dressage.
Yeah.
But, take a champion Mongolian horse fighter, and go ahead and put him into a taekwondo match. He's gonna get his ass kicked. And so the rules are different in all these different things. And you got to accept that. You got to appreciate that. You got to have some humility about it. You got to take a step back and say, what's the strategy and how do I get in? And also, if you're serious, it's a long term commitment, which means you have to put the time and effort in. You can't just dip in and do that. If you want to just dip in, do a license deal. Okay. So you have somebody else who's already got it. And that's what Snoop Dogg does. He's the best motherfucker in the world at this. That's why there's a Snoop skin in Call of
Snoop
Duty.
Dogg is a man.
Oh my, there's Snoop cereal, there's Snoop this,
Yeah.
Snoop that. He makes so much money off all that shit. But you know what? He is not figuring out how to sell cereal or all this other or video games, these things. He's just putting his name and likeness, making a license deal. It's a rising tides thing. And whether they win or lose, he makes some money off of that
Correct.
deal. That's Snoop, right? And if Dave wants to do that, that's a light touch commitment. If he actually wants to come in, he needs a guy like you for the media. He needs a platform like Stuff.io for the actual distribution. He needs to understand the exchanges, and he needs some people to help him there. And then he also needs a regulatory schema of how he puts these pieces together. So he needs a tier one law firm to come in and help him. Even though Trump's president, there's
Yeah.
still issues that can be fraudulent, and you have to be very careful about that. And he needs a tax strategy too, because there's so much weird, complicated tax shit that's going on. So you need to walk this entire snaky path and have an all golden market strategy. Now the opportunity is enormous. He can go from a lifetime value of a viewer from maybe a few cents. I think it's if there's a $450 million valuation with 40 million people, you can do the math on that. They're pricing like a little bit over 10 and some change. But he could potentially take that to a multi-billion-dollar platform, cut out the middleman, have micro tipping, have all these different things. Every time he does a podcast, get a revenue stream. There's a lot of magic there that Dave could get. But the first step is taking a step back and saying, what are your goals? How long do you want to do this? What risk do you want to encumber? What type of investment do you want to make? Is this your full-time gig? Is this a part-time gig? How much of your brand do you really want to put into this? Are you going to show up at events? Look, Dave, tomorrow, if you want to go speak at Token 2049 or consensus, I will hook you up, dude. You want to come to F Denver? I'll call John. We'll hook you up. Okay. If you really want to, you're a big guy, you can come into the space. They'll give you the ability to interact and talk to people. RFK did when he got into crypto. He went to
Yeah.
Bitcoin 2024. He went to Rare Evo, one of the conferences we helped put on. He went to F Denver. There was a Kennedy booth there and spoke to people, shook hands. Trump did. Trump went to Bitcoin 2024. And so if you're really serious about it, you got to go to those events and you got to meet the people, got to attend the parties and build your network out and build a thing. And there's plenty of people to introduce you. But if you're not serious, you just plan, just license. You got a brand, license. Have a guy come in, license the IP and figure something out there. And that's okay then. You'll still make a lot of money. You just won't make like crypto money, but
Yeah.
you'll make money.
Crypto money is different.
I
Crypto's
like
money.
crypto money.
Yeah,
It's
I
good
like
money.
crypto money too. I like crypto money too.
I'm wearing an
Guys,
octopus shirt. I'm okay. Crypto money's great.
they love you. I gotta tell you, there's a new audience here. They are fucking loving you. And I just want to say this. I told you so about Cardano, you son of a bitches. You constantly came at me when I was in spaces and saying it, okay? I was saying Cardano was going to, I said Cardano is going to rise and it's going to keep on rising. And watch when midnight comes out. Watch when midnight really goes ahead and takes flight. All of you guys are going to be jumping on it. Mark my words. Mark my words. You don't know. I've been in the trenches fighting for you, Charles. Fighting for the Cardano community. I'm out there by myself like Jon Snow going against Ramsay. If anybody watched Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about. The scene with the horses,
The last great episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then it went to shit, right?
Hey, I'm gonna rewrite it. I actually, I was so angry after season 7 and 8 in Game of Thrones that I spent an entire month and I rewrote the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
How
It takes
bad
like
was it? It was so
takes
bad.
45 minutes to explain it to a person because it's so intricate, but it's the best ending ever. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? So I'm gonna work with a screenwriter and then I'm gonna use AI and we're just gonna generate like a graphic novel for the last 2 seasons. And then when generative AI gets good enough, I'm gonna remake the last 2 seasons with generative AI just so I can watch them and pretend like season 7 and 8 didn't happen. So we're only like 5 years out for that, but I will pay millions of dollars because I grew up with this fucking show. I watched it and they murdered it. They drowned it in a pool, okay?
I was so angry.
It was
I was
like
like, what the fuck am I watching here?
It was Goodfellas with Joe Pesci. They're like, I'm a made man. They're gonna make me. And then he's like with his ma getting his tie on and everything. And Game of Thrones season 7, they take him in and they shoot him in the back of the head. And I'm Robert De Niro on the phone, like, yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, we had to take care of it. Yeah, he's gone. Don't worry about it. It's like, God damn it.
Funny.
Killed my guy. All right.
I love your spirit today. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you're always lively, but like today, Robert
Kennedy, yeah, boy, yeah, make
it go
again. Woo!
That's what I'm talking about. This is the Charles you don't know, but now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
No more high fructose corn syrup. You have cane sugar, and you're gonna like it.
Any raps. Check the episode. In the beginning, he raps. He knows Eminem. Okay.
Yes. I was in a Snoop Dogg video. Yeah, absolutely. I was absolutely in a Snoop Dogg. In fact, I'll fucking give you the link for it. Yeah. Let me
send me the link. I put this up. Charles is hey, what other founders in Snoop Dogg's video? Show me them.
Yeah, here we go. Brana Brony. Here we go. This is on my ranch up in Wheatland. I'll send it as a private chat. You can share it with your guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, here I'll fucking share my screen too. So, it was great, man. All right, can you see my screen?
You just turn that. I will go right back to you, and I will share the screen. Here we go. Sharing screen.
Yeah, so the Clay Nation did it with Champ Medici, Snoop's son. So Snoop's son came up to the ranch. There's us together, Snoop Dogg's son. Yeah, riding horses, doing all kinds of crazy shit, and then that's my Black Hawk right there. How about that? And then some of the Lambos I got, and the jet, and then there's Snoop is inside the video as well, and there's the jet.
That's dope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thug life. How about that?
Thug
So yeah,
life, billionaire, thug life, entrepreneur, builder. Okay, speaks in front of Congress for Bitcoin adoption. The man, the myth, the legend, Charles. I don't call him by his last name. It's just Charles.
thank
I
you, David.
appreciate you. I really do
Charles
appreciate
out.
you. Have a good one. That is Charles. Goes by one name and one name only. He's in rap videos. I'm trying to hold on one second. Man, that's crazy stuff, man. I didn't even look at my phone today. I've been on here. I haven't even looked. I don't know what's going down. I really don't. But welcome to the breakdown, episode 527, sponsored by Gemini, powered by G Media. I'm trying to also shut down. I'm trying to. Hold on a second. Just want to catch myself up here. Should we go ahead and trade? Should we trade? Guys, should we trade? Where are we at with, hold on, where are we at? Where are the markets at right now? Hold on, I haven't even looked at where the markets are at. What the fuck's going on with the markets? Let's look at the markets right now. Where are the markets at? Oh my God, where are the markets at? Let's look. Let's look. Where are the markets? What do the markets look like? All right, Bitcoin's up. I mean, it's at 96,323 and Ethereum's close to 2,700. And I mean, BNB's up because of CZ's dog named Broccoli. That's at 673. Solana's close to 2. Let's see. Man, I can't believe, Charles is in rap videos, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's in rap videos. By the way, shout out to RFK, man. RFK officially going to take care of our health. Love to see that. Love to see it. Love to see that. Love to see it. Love to see it. Who the hell is this? Yeah, I got tagged up in so much shit. Hold on. Do. Let their tears fill the cup. What is this? What is this? What am I catching up on? What am I catching up on? Yeah, I did write today. Yeah, that's right. Now everybody has a different take on Charles from Cardano. Everybody sees him in a different light. Good. I'm happy that you guys do. I wrote a tweet because I seen Broccoli come out, and that's Broccoli is the name of the dog of CZ's dog from Binance. But then I looked at Deck Screener and all I saw was a bunch of like vegetables. All I saw was a bunch of vegetables. And I was like, oh my God. So I said, we've officially run out of names for tickers. So now motherfuckers are just walking into grocery stores, hitting the vegetable section and picking their next play. And I think that went over people's heads because I'm just looking at Deck Screener and there's carrots and all this stuff, all your favorite vegetables. Okay. And I got to get CZ on. I got to ask CZ. I mean, or maybe he put it out there. Why broccoli, man? I gotta read if he put that out there. I gotta read. Hold on, just answering some people. I'm sorry, man. Sorry. Let's see. Being able to. Yeah. By the way, you know who's really funny, and like I really wasn't up to date on his content, but KFC Barstool is fucking hilarious, bro. Like, have you guys seen his shit? Like that thing about Montoya, I was crying. I was howling on the floor, laughing my fucking ass off watching that. I like I don't know if I can I don't know if I should put it on here, but like it was fucking hilarious, man. Have you guys watched it? Hold on, let me retweet, man. Let me retweet because I think some of you guys hold on. I think some of you guys are fairly new to Barstool. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can pull this up. Oh my god. I'm tagged in so much shit that I can't pull things up here. So now NFT projects are launching tokens. So this is what I'm missing out on. Some crackhead said he sold his Jill stool because I'm in it, but I know he has no money, so he was never in it. Let's see what else. What else is there? What else is there on the news? Hold on, let's see. By the way, I'm looking to see what I can go into. I don't know. Maybe I'll go into Jill stool. Maybe I will. Listen, in my opinion, by the way, in my opinion, um, I think that I'll state it again. I think if Dave is victorious with, if Stooley is victorious with Jill stool, then Barstool token when it does come out to the when it does come out, it'll take off. It will take off, and especially what Charles said, like if you and I've been saying this too, when you have a game plan, right? And he said some other stuff about licensing and all that stuff. It would be epic. It'd be epic for Portnoy to go ahead and go that route. It will, and he got to surround himself with people like that who are not looking to gain anything from it. Like Charles is a billionaire. He's not looking to gain anything from it. He just likes building shit. And there's other people that have the same mindset. They really do. Hold on, I gotta say something. Hold on, I'm fucking around with people right now. I'm fucking around. I'm I'm doing fucking Game of Thrones quotes. Hold on. Somebody said uh, you got 91,000 people watch me scroll on the phone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm looking. I'm looking through the wallet. Okay, I'm looking through the wallet to see what I should buy. Okay, I'm looking. I'm looking. I feel like I should just buy more, Jill Stool. I don't know. I'm buying Bobo. I'll probably buy. Well, hold on. I'm looking to see if Bobo pulls back. Let's see. Hold on. I'm looking. I'm looking. If Dave can have, what the fuck am I doing? I can't. I can't with the comments are hilarious. I don't. You know what? This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. By the way, shout out to everybody who tuned in. I don't. I'm looking through these things and I don't know what I can really pick here. I really don't have a selection here. Like I don't know what to pick here. I really don't. I don't know. So when you don't know, you do what you do best, and that is just go to the shit that you know. So I will go and look at what memes are really down for me to get into. That's really it. I will go ahead and look to see what memes I should go ahead and get into. And that is really, hold on, where is, yeah. Memes are looking like memes are on clearance right now. Memes are on clearance. I asked Charles about the market conditions and if it, when does he see all this shit coming back? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I mean, things are in the green in the last hour. Pepe's at 4 billion. Hold on. Pepe's at 4 billion. Let's look. Pepe's at 4 billion. What else? It seems like everything is kind of on the move here. Everything, most of the things that we're into are in the green. Let's see. Let's see. I like Wojak. Wojak is at 33 million. God damn it. If it went down to, if it hits 25, hold on. If it hits 25 million, I would go in. Me personally. Not financial advice. Nothing said here is financial advice. Seek out a financial professional if you need help with your finances or investing and to see if investing is right for you. Bobo's at 23.4. Man, I can't wait until Bobo goes. I really can't. But everything is down. Like, so in the same token, everything's up in the last hour, but not by a lot of percent. But everything for the most part is kind of like here, it's wobbling. And we just wait for a catalyst, man. We just got to wait for this catalyst so we can go ahead and you are no financial professional, Al. You are no financial professional. Excuse me. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. There's nothing. Honestly, I had a great conversation with Charles. I'm happy that RFK Jr. is now in office, and that should really help America get healthy again. That is great. Trump is moving fast paced. Love to go ahead and see it. Anyway, on that note, guys, I'm out. I will see you later tonight. I'll have a show, a Spaces. Tune in. I know you guys are from YouTube and Rumble and stuff like that, but I'll be on X if you want to go ahead and jump in. We'll go ahead and talk about some cool stuff and the nightly show, the nightly recap.